Lockdown permitted to be relaxed from today by state governments to facilitate certain economic activities in non-containment zones, subject to conditions specified in Ministry of Home Affairs guidelines. Many states, including Delhi, Punjab and Telangana, decide not to ease lockdown. Prime Minister Narendra Modi shares his ideas on COVID-19 crisis on social media, highlights how digitization is helping people in these difficult times, calls for the youth to take lead with their innovative zeal to provide a new work culture. India slams Pakistan on Pak PM's comments on India's internal affairs. External Affairs Ministry says instead of concentrating on fighting COVID-19, Pakistan is making baseless allegations in order to shift focus from its own abysmal record of treating minorities. COVID-19 cases stand at over 13,000 across the country, while death toll crosses the 500 mark. Over 2,300 people have been cured and discharged. No new positive cases found in Goa since April 3rd. COVID-19 cases continue to spiral globally with more than 24 lakh cases and 1.65 lakh fatalities. In worst affected United States, death toll nears 41,000. And as the holy month of Ramzan begins this week, several countries, including Saudi Arabia and UAE, and leading Muslim clerics issue strict guidelines for offering prayers at home and avoiding public gatherings during Ramzan. Good morning, I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Hope you're doing well. Let's begin the stories in detail. In the first easing of lockdown measures for COVID-19, hotels in Kerala, highway dhabas in Haryana, tea gardens in West Bengal and mining in Jharkhand will be among some establishments that will open for business from today, as states across India partially lift curbs as part of a staggered reopening of the economy. The selective relaxation allowed by the centre during the second phase of nationwide lockdown, in force till May 3rd, focuses on rural sector and daily wage earners. It does not apply to the so-called hotspot districts. It is to be noted that these easing of restrictions will not be applicable in the containment zones. The easing of restrictions in various sectors include all health services, including Ayush, all agricultural and horticultural activities, operations of fishing, marine and inland aquaculture industry, plantation activities such as tea, coffee, rubber plantations, with a maximum of 50% workforce, animal husbandry, financial sector, social sector, Manrega works with strict implementation of social distancing, face masks, public utilities, movement of loading and unloading of goods, cargo, both inter and intrastate, online teaching, distance learning to be encouraged, supply of essential goods, commercial and private establishments, industries, industrial establishments, both government and private, construction activities, private vehicles for emergency services, medical and veterinary care, and for procuring essential commodities for personnel travelling to place of work in exempted categories as per instructions of States and Union Territory Local Authority and Office of Government of India in offices of State and Union Territory governments. Meanwhile, Delhi government has announced that there will be no relaxation in the lockdown from Monday, that is 20th April, as the number of coronavirus cases continue to rise in the national capital. The state government will review its decision after a week. Delhi government has been increasing the number of containment zones over the last week. As of late last evening, there were 76 such zones after 8 fresh containment zones were announced. And Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao on Sunday announced that the ongoing lockdown in the state will continue till May 7th without any relaxations. The centre permitted certain relaxations after April 20th. but the state cabinet decided not to give any relaxation. The state cabinet would meet on May 5th to take further decisions after reassessing the COVID-19 situation, as the state has recorded a total of 844 positive cases. Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh announced on Sunday that the state will not relax the lockdown till May 3rd, and any decision on the way forward will be taken after an expert committee set up to formulate the state's lockdown exit plan submits its report. The Punjab government has directed deputy commissioners to ensure strict enforcement of the curfew in all districts and check availability of essential items. The state also asked officials to not issue curfew passes during the month of Ramzan that begins later this week. As the nationwide lockdown continues, workplaces are shut and millions of Indians are in their homes, some working through digital media, working from home. Prime Minister Modi reached out to these people and shared his experiences as he too is working from home in the time of the lockdown. Prime Minister wrote a blog titled Life in the Era of COVID-19 on a popular website. In his post, he highlights the important points, including the need to be efficient and creative in these difficult times. The post reflects Prime Minister Modi's spirit of turning adversity into opportunity. He called for youth to take lead with their innovative zeal to provide a new work culture. This adversity can be the turning point in redefining business spaces and work culture, he says.
Calling home as the new office, PM Modi said that workplaces are becoming digital. He gave a glimpse of his day of how he has been making numerous phone calls daily, taking feedback from different sections of society. He highlighted how digitalization is helping people connect and work smoothly in such difficult times. Various measures have been undertaken in the education sector, including Diksha, a portal to help teachers and boost e-learning. Swayam, an online portal to improve access, equity and quality of education. PM Modi emphasized on the need for adaptability. In his post, he described technology as something that demolishes bureaucratic hierarchies, eliminates middlemen and accelerates welfare measures. He highlighted that the need of the hour is to think of business and lifestyle models that are easily adaptable. He called telemedicines and digital payments as prime examples of adaptability. The focus shall be on efficiency and completing tasks in the specified time frame. The Prime Minister urged people to develop business models that keep welfare of the poor and vulnerable sections in mind. Necessity is the mother of all invention, and it is the need of the hour to develop technology that reduces impact on the planet. Do more with less. He said that COVID-19 has made us realize the need to work on health solutions at low cost and large scale. He asked people to invest in innovations to make sure that farmers have access to information, machinery and markets no matter what the situation is, and ensure that every citizen have access to essential goods. PM said that the country should see this difficulty as an opportunity and strive hard and become an example for the world. He said that India must be ahead of the curve in the post-COVID-19 world instead of catching up with it. PM Modi urged the people to stand united in this fight against coronavirus. He said that we are in this together and it is a threat that is faced by the world collectively. The future will be about togetherness and resilience. The sudden shift has caused a stir in people's life, but it is important to maintain work-life balance. PM also highlighted the need for mental and physical well-being and devoting time to fitness. He urged people to do regular exercises and yoga.
And Prime Minister Modi also took to Twitter to hail the contribution of small shopkeepers and traders for ensuring people get their essential supplies during the virus-induced lockdown in the country, and at the same time stressed on practicing social distancing to mitigate and combat the pandemic. PM also said small shopkeepers have contributed significantly in maintaining the entire social system. Society and the country will always remember their contribution. Following Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's unwarranted comments on Sunday about the situation of minorities in India during the COVID crisis, External Affairs spokesperson accused that the bizarre comments by Pakistani leadership are an attempt to shift focus from the abysmal handling of their internal affairs. He further said, instead of concentrating on fighting COVID-19, Pakistan is making baseless allegations against their neighbors. He also said that on the subject of minorities, they would be well advised to address the concerns of their own dwindling minority communities that have been truly discriminated against. In a daily joint media briefing by Ministry of Health along with Ministry of Home Affairs and ICMR, ICMR has said that over 3,86,000 tests have been conducted in the country so far. The total number of confirmed cases in India stands at 16,116, with over 2,300 people who have recovered so far. The COVID-19 pandemic has claimed 519 lives in the country till now. Some good news as well lingering around the corner. There have been no new cases reported in 54 districts of 23 states in the past 14 days. 755 dedicated COVID-19 hospitals have been set up. Over 1,400 healthcare centers have been established. There will be zero relaxation in the containment zones. Only selective relaxation outside of containment zones will be allowed from April 20th. ICMR said that 5 vaccines are in human trial phase, and a high-level task force has been formed to work on drug testing and vaccine. Now, Goa has become the first Indian state to rid itself of coronavirus, as all its 7 patients who had earlier tested positive have recovered from the infection. Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said that the state had been strictly following the lockdown rules from the sealing of state borders to enforcing restrictions on the movement of people since January 22nd. That's the day when PM Modi announced the Janata curfew.
खुशी हो रही है कि गोवा में 0 केसेस कोविड के आफ्टर द 3rd अप्रैल एक भी पॉजिटिव केस नहीं मिली है और लास्ट पेशेंट जो था नेगेटिव आ गया है। मुझे अनाउंस करते वक्त कि गोवा में एक भी इस वक्त पॉजिटिव पेशेंट नहीं है, बहुत खुशी की बात है। मैं कांग्रेचुलेट करता हूं हमारी पूरी कोविड हॉस्पिटल की टीम।
And Manipur Chief Minister took to Twitter to share good news from the northeast. The Chief Minister informed that the state has become corona-free as 2 corona-positive patients have tested negative. He said, "I'm glad to share that Manipur is now corona-free. Both patients have fully recovered and have tested negative. There are no fresh cases of the virus in the state. This has been possible because of cooperation of public and medical staff and strict enforcement of the lockdown." The government has revised its lockdown guidelines that allowed e-commerce companies to operate fully and even sell non-essential items to customers during the lockdown. Earlier, e-commerce companies were asked to start work from April 20th and get necessary clearance for movement of delivery vehicles. Accepting the objection of Confederation of All India Traders, MHA excluded the permission granted earlier, and now e-commerce can only trade in essential commodities. E-commerce platforms are allowed to sell essential commodities such as food, pharmaceutical and medical devices. G20 health ministers held a virtual meeting on 19th April to further coordinate efforts in combating COVID-19. Ministers addressed the need to improve effectiveness of global health system by sharing knowledge and closing the gap in response capabilities and readiness. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, who took part in the virtual meeting, said that global health crisis has created an opportunity to dive deep into the nature of what connects us all, while simultaneously providing us collective strength and wisdom to accomplish the unthinkable. In the meeting, the minister also said that India has been successful in tackling the public health emergency of international concern. He also emphasized on the 5-fold hallmark approach that India is following to combat corona pandemic. These approaches include maintaining a continuous situation awareness, preemptive and proactive approach, graded response as per continuously evolving scenario, intersectoral coordination at all levels, and lastly, but most importantly, creating a people's movement to combat this disease. In the Palghar mob lynching case of Maharashtra, state police has filed FIR and has arrested 110 persons. The horrific lynching of 3 persons belonging to a religious group took place recently when they were going to Gujarat. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray yesterday assured that no guilty would be spared. The Reserve Bank of India, after consultation with the centre, has announced the issue dates of the sovereign gold bond scheme 2020-21. In a statement, RBI announced that the issue price for the sovereign gold bond has been set at Rs 4,639 for every gram of gold. Bonds will be issued in 6 tranches beginning April and ending September 2020. Gold Bond Scheme 2020-21 Series 1 will open for subscription from 20th, that is today, to 24th of April. The RBI will come out with an issue every month. Investors can buy these bonds through designated scheduled commercial banks, except small finance banks and payment banks, Stock Holding Corporation of India Limited, and designated post offices. One can also buy these bonds through National Stock Exchange of India Limited and PSC Limited. Sovereign gold bonds have a tenure of 8 years with exit options available from the 5th year. Apart from the rise in gold prices, the investor gets a fixed rate of interest on the investment amount throughout the tenure of the fund. The government will pay an interest at the rate of 2.5% per annum. The interest is payable semi-annually. Some news from across the world. US President Donald Trump has said that Republicans were close to getting a deal with Democrats on another legislative package to help alleviate economic damage done by coronavirus pandemic. At a White House briefing, the president suggested there could be a resolution by today. On the other hand, governors of many states are clamoring for more tests to detect new infections as well as to test for immunity as part of their plans to reopen their states. Meanwhile, New York continued to see hospitalizations decline to 16,000 from a high of 18,000, and the number of patients being kept alive by ventilators. There were 507 new deaths, down from the high of more than 700 a day. The United States has by far the world's largest number of confirmed coronavirus cases, with over 7,59,000 infections and over 40,600 casualties. And Italy witnessed broadly stable situation in place over the last 2 weeks, with the daily tallies of deaths and cases continuing to slow down. Deaths from COVID-19 epidemic rose to 433 yesterday, the lowest daily tally in a week. The number of new cases also slowed to just over 3,000 from a previous of 3,491. Italians across the country entered their 7th week in lockdown from today. The total death toll since the outbreak came to light on February 21st rose to 23,660. It's the second highest in the world after United States. Total confirmed cases stood at 1,78,972 people. And Spain's death count from COVID-19 has surpassed 20,450, while a total of 1,98,674 cases have been registered in the country. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez said he would ask Parliament for a third 15-day extension of the lockdown imposed to curb one of the world's worst outbreaks of the new coronavirus, taking the restrictions up to May 9th. Although he said children will be exempted from the new restrictions, they would be allowed to go outside after April 27th, though these relaxations would be subject to avoid contagion. Meanwhile, health staff from Spanish hospital La Paz clapped after taking a minute of silence to remember the hospital's chief of surgery who died due to coronavirus. France's Prime Minister said the country was starting to beat back coronavirus and the outbreak's death toll approached 20,000 yesterday. New hospitalization continued a slow decline in France. French Prime Minister said that coronavirus situation in the country is improving slowly but surely, while he also warned that the crisis was far from over. France has been in virtual lockdown for nearly 5 weeks, but is due to start easing some confinement measures from May 11th. France registered 395 more deaths from coronavirus on Sunday, bringing the total to 19,744. In Britain, death toll from COVID-19 in hospitals rose by 596 yesterday. Yesterday's data tend to show smaller increases in number of fatalities, with a total of just over 16,000 deaths. The UK is one of the 5 countries with more than 10,000 coronavirus casualties. Meanwhile, UK Cabinet Minister Michael Gove has denied reports that the government was considering easing restrictions within 3 weeks, with schools opening as soon as May 11th. He said any decision on lifting the lockdown would be based on advice from health experts. Meanwhile, a flight of carrying personal protective equipment, or PPE, has been delayed in Turkey. 84-ton shipment, including 400,000 surgical gowns, was due to arrive in the UK on Sunday afternoon. The government flight is expected to arrive by Monday evening now. 2 people were applauded by the staff in UK as they were released from the temporary hospital at London's NHS Nightingale Hospital on Sunday afternoon. Workers of the hospital gathered outside to see off the patient, cheering and whooping as the ambulance carrying him drove off. They were the first people to be successfully discharged from care since the hospital welcomed its first patients on April 7th. The emergency facility was built in only 9 days to boost COVID-19 treatment capacity in London. In Canada, at least 16 people, including a policeman, were killed in a shooting rampage in Nova Scotia on Sunday. 51-year-old person wearing a police uniform shot people in several locations across the Atlantic province. The 12-hour rampage ended in a car chase, the attacker being dead. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described it as a terrible situation, while Nova Scotia Premier termed it as one of the most senseless acts of violence in the province's history. Mass shootings are relatively rare in Canada, that has tighter gun laws than the neighbor, United States. Israelis held demonstrations at Tel Aviv against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday night under strict coronavirus restrictions. Thousands of them gathered at a rally wearing face masks, carrying black flags and keeping 2 meters away from each other. The demonstrators accused Netanyahu of destroying Israeli democracy and said their former ally, blue and white leader Benny Gantz, was allowing it to happen by seeking to join him in government. Meanwhile, Netanyahu is negotiating a power-sharing deal with his political rival Benny Gantz to form a coalition government. In a matter of fact, Israel has reported more than 13,000 COVID-19 cases with 172 casualties, some restrictions during which have been eased since Saturday. In the wake of coronavirus pandemic, UAE Fatwa Council issued guidelines on fasting to the Islamic communities around the world during this holy month of Ramzan. The council warned against unusual practices and reminded it is obligatory to follow the authorities' instructions to avoid gatherings and stop Friday prayer as a precautionary measure against communicable disease risk that increase with mass gathering. The 5 fatwas issued by UAE Fatwa Council is as follows. It is permissible for COVID-19 patients and frontline workers while on duty not to fast during Ramzan. Taraweeh prayer could be performed individually at home. The man of the house may lead the prayer for his family. Eid al-Fitr prayer individually at their homes or in group with respective family members without a sermon, as congregation would endanger lives. Duhur prayer in place of Friday prayer, as it has its own congregational requirements, and if such requirements are not met due to some obstacles, then it is no longer valid. On Zakat al-Fitr, Council said it is permitted to pay Zakat earlier. And as the holy month of Ramzan begins later this week in view of corona pandemic, prominent Muslim clerics of Jammu region have appealed to people to stay in their homes and offer prayers from home. Maintaining social distancing is key.
जो हुकूमत ने यानी गाइडलाइन दी है हमें सोशल डिस्टेंस की और सेहत के एतबार से जो है अलग अलग रहने की, मस्जिदों को बंद करने की, रमज़ानुल मुबारक के महीने में हुकूमत या दुनिया का कोई आदमी आपको रोज़े रखने से नहीं रोक रहा, आपको नमाज पढ़ने से नहीं रोक रहा, आपको किसी चीज़ से नहीं रोक रहा। सिर्फ आपको रोक इससे रहे हैं कि आप जमा कहीं ना हो, गैदरिंग ना करें, आप सोशल डिस्टेंस रखें।
कुछ जो इंतज़ाम किया गया है वो हमारी ही भलाई के लिए है, और कुछ लोग इस तरीके से सोच रहे हैं कि हो सकता है कि सरकार की तरफ से हमारे ऊपर कोई प्रेशर डाला जा रहा है। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। इसी वबा से बचने के लिए कि हम भी सेफ रहें और दूसरे भी सेफ रहें।
कि जो ये बीमारी फैली हुई है इसके अंदर ख़ास करके गवर्नमेंट ने और जहाँ के हमारे यहाँ के मीडिया ने और सब ने जो है ये कहा है कि इसमें इनफरादी तौर ही रहा जाए और अपने घरों के अंदर ही रहा जाए। और रहा मसला नमाज का और दीगर इबादत का, तो इसके अंदर तो बेहतर सबसे मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि नमाज हो या कोई भी इबादत हो मजमूई तौर पे इकट्ठा होकर वो ना की जाए, और इनफरादी तौर पे वो अपने अपने घरों के अंदर ही जो है उसका पालन किया जाए और उसको देख रेख जो है अपने घरों के अंदर ही तक महदूद रह जाएँ।
And just a gentle reminder to protect yourself in this COVID-19 outbreak. Practice good personal hygiene, wash your hands regularly, use a hand sanitizer, stay at home and stay safe. Namaskar.